Divine intervention. Well, that is what we'll try and find out. Hiroshima, Japan, August 6, 1945. 8:15 a.m. 29-year-old engineer Tsutomu Yamaguchi is walking to work. In a blinding flash, brighter than the sun, fills the sky. He doesn't know it yet. The world's first atomic bomb has just exploded over the city with a force of 15,000 tons of TNT, creating a massive shockwave that disintegrates everything in its path.
Instinctively, Tsutomu Yamaguchi raced into a ditch, and an atomic fireball began to pulverize almost everything in sight. Like a gigantic hand from outer space coming down, crushing everything, blowing all structures away.
The bomb that exploded over Hiroshima was the most destructive force ever unleashed in history. 80,000 people died instantly as temperatures approaching the surface of the sun vaporized their bodies and bathed the city in lethal radiation. But despite being less than 2 miles from ground zero, Mr. Yamaguchi somehow survived.
He woke up and he didn't know how many minutes passed, but what he saw was a huge pillar of the fire over the Hiroshima city. Everything was burned.
There is ash falling from the sky, and he realizes that his eardrums have been shattered and that he was burned by the enormous amount of heat that came out of the blast. He got 1,000 times the dose of radiation that we experience in 1 year simply by walking on the surface of the earth.
Anyone who was in that type of a radius from an atomic bomb would experience anywhere from 95 to 98% chance of dying due to all the different dimensions of injury that are possible.
Tsutomu Yamaguchi's survival of the nuclear devastation at Hiroshima is almost impossible to fathom. But what's even more unbelievable is that just 3 days later, on August 9th, 1945, he did it again.
Yamaguchi is from Nagasaki. After being atomic bombed, he wants to go back to meet his family. So he gets on a train, travels 186 miles from Hiroshima to Nagasaki, and then for a second time, he sees this flash of light coming from an atomic detonation, the Nagasaki bomb. And there's a repeat of the tragedy.
He was in his office with his supervisor and colleagues, and at that moment, the Nagasaki bomb blasted, and he immediately ducked and hid under the table, under the desk. So he survived, but his colleagues lost their lives.
More than 75,000 people died in the Nagasaki bombing. Yet once again, Tsutomu Yamaguchi walked away from a deadly nuclear blast with only minor injuries. Even more incredibly, despite being exposed to a lethal dose of radiation for the second time in 3 days, he lived an otherwise healthy life before finally dying at the age of 93.
Those 2 quick doses of radiation within 3 days of each other is absolutely terrible. You would think it would have destroyed his body's internal organs. But somehow, this man had a system that was able to withstand it. And so it shows that there's a lot more going on with our bodies. They're capable but a lot more than we may realize. It just takes these extraordinary circumstances to show us that.
From a medical perspective, it defies all of the science that we know. There has to be another facet, like his will to live, and who knows, maybe that element of will that can't be quantified by science has something to do with it.
Tsutomu Yamaguchi's survival would appear to defy our logic, which is perhaps why some people attribute it to fate.
When we're thinking about survival, fate and destiny are so interesting because they're beliefs that have been held by societies as long as we've had sort of recorded history. We can look at the ancient Greeks, where a lot of the philosophies were really about the gods on Mount Olympus sort of rolling the dice and determining the fates for the lowly humans underneath. We could look at Hinduism, where the concept of karma has often been sort of conflated with a model of fate. And I think that makes sense, given how people who survive disasters of any kind, and really, by all odds, should have done. It's really a miracle watching them walk out of these situations. One of the systems of meaning that those people will find themselves in is to say, there was a plan for me.
Is it really possible that Tsutomu Yamaguchi was destined to withstand the bombings at Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Perhaps the answer can be found by examining another survivor who overcame impossible odds not just twice, but an astonishing 4 times. April 14th, 1912, 11:40 p.m. Deep within the bowels of the luxury liner RMS Titanic, Arthur John Priest is shoveling coal into the vessel's massive boilers when it strikes a 400-foot iceberg. The hull rips open, and Priest is plunged into darkness as the boiler room instantly floods with the icy waters of the North Atlantic.
These areas where Priest is working and other firemen are working, they're below the water line. They're the most vulnerable. The water's going to come in at a very fast rate of flooding. The chances of survival are very slim.
Somehow, with the ship damaged, breaking apart, he still managed to get from below deck and escape. And guys in his role, a lot of them didn't get to make it onto the life rafts. So he gets in the water and survives 28-degree water temperatures, these ungodly below freezing water temperatures.
Available information indicates that Arthur John Priest swam for 30 minutes before safely boarding the lifeboat. So it seems like a pretty remarkable feat to survive given the tragic loss of life involved in the Titanic.
Surviving the Titanic is incredible enough. But what's truly remarkable about Arthur John Priest is the fact that over the next 5 years, he endured 3 more catastrophic shipwrecks.
Priest survived 4 sinkings between 1912 and 1917. He not only survived the Titanic, he was also involved in the sinking of the Alcantara in 1960. He next moved on to the Britannic, which also sank in the later part of the year. His last ship that he served upon was another hospital ship, the Donegal, which was torpedoed by a German U-boat in the English Channel in 1917.
For Mr. Priest to survive all 4 of these shipwrecks, it seems like something was looking out for him. Because it definitely defies the odds. Luck, serendipity, whatever it is. I think our bodies and minds can take us very, very far. But at a certain point, you really gotta hope for the best.
Are some people destined to cheat death? Certain stories definitely make you wonder whether it's possible. However, there are those who believe that some stories of survival are not due to fate, but rather the remarkable healing power of the human body. Is there a fact?
Oh, my car insurance bill doubled?
Yikes. You should try Insurify. In just a few clicks, you can compare rates from dozens of insurance companies and switch your coverage online.
I like the sound of that.
And you could.
I just got the same coverage for half the price.
Hey, that's what I was going to say.
I cut my bill in half. I love you, Insurify guy.
Go to Insurify.com and save up to $1,000 a year on your car insurance.